Here we are in where?
Polesden Lacey.
Here we are in Polesden Lacey, trying out a newly launched 7Artisans 15mm f4 lens.
It's so far away, you can't see me doing it, but trust me, it's on there.
Apparently, this is the new lens for 7Artisans. It's not available for any mounts as of yet, so it's a new one on the block. We're going to test it out. We're going to tell you how good or bad is it.
One thing you have to watch out for with these third-party lenses is that you don't get aperture information when you're looking through the viewfinder or on the back screen. So you have to keep an eye on where your aperture is set, like that. 15mm is an odd focal length for some, but it's actually quite useful if you're stuck in situations where you can't move backwards, or if you move backwards, you'd put your life in danger, such as architecture and standing in the middle of the road. So just as a non-typical example, I'm standing here. I am less than 2 meters away from this bench, and I can actually fit it all in with a 15mm, believe it or not. If I'm about here, I can fit every bit of it in. So that's when something super wide like this comes in handy. You will struggle with distortion, but if you give yourself enough space, you can fix it for the most part in post-processing. It's a shame all these statues are covered over because you don't get the grand majesty of it all, you know?
But we can take lots of pictures of the benches.
Lots of pictures of benches and plants that haven't grown yet. I need a tilt shift lens.
Yeah, when Nikon is going to release tilt and shift for that mount.
Well, because it's actually like, I don't want to tilt the lens too much because then I'll get terrible distortion at the bottom. I've got this thing above me, and if I tilt to here, I can see it. We're going to go inside and see how it fares in indoor photography. I think it's going to be quite dark, so I'm going to have to bump up the ISO because the maximum aperture is f4. But let's see how useful it is in enclosed spaces. I'm literally having to shoot wide open the whole time.
It's so dark in here because they want to protect the paints, but I'm pretty glad that I brought my flash with me. The thing is, right, shooting indoors in very low light conditions at f4 may not be ideal, but we've got fairly modern cameras nowadays which are very good in low light. So for some people it may be an issue. I don't really personally see it an issue. Okay, you get a little bit more noise, but otherwise the image is very usable. Again, if you're doing astrophotography though, you do want to get something like 21.8 just to open up the aperture a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so thoughts on this lens. It's chunky at 615 grams, so it feels well built, which is nice. Focusing is a little bit iffy because it's a manual focus on 15mm, and that means that everything looks sharp within the frame. The good news is, obviously your depth field is huge, so because of that, even if it's not in focus, it's highly likely will be in focus anyway. Aperturing while it's clicky, it feels a little bit kind of tight.
Sluggish
Yeah,
is
that
the
could be
word that
that.
I would use.
But it doesn't feel cheap at the same time.
It takes a 77mm filter, which means that you can put on your trusty neutral density, circular polarizers, etc. As I said before, one of the biggest issues I find with these lenses is that there's no information being passed along to the camera. Obviously, there's no profiles in your post-processing software to correct everything. So you kind of have to do it manually, or pick a lens that's also 15mm and then hope that it does the right kind of correction. It's not ideal.
Yeah, but interesting thing is, let's say with the Voigtlander 15mm that is currently available for Z mount, if you choose a Leica version of 15mm, it corrects it really well. So it is highly likely that this lens will be corrected well as well. All right, let's talk the image quality. Wide open, you get very soft corners. So anything critical is not recommended to shoot wide open. Now stop down to f8, f11, it's significantly improved. Vignetting also disappears, but now stop down to f8, f11, the softness disappears, vignetting also disappears, so it's very, very usable. Now, comparing to Voigtlander lens, I do find Voigtlander lens a little bit sharper than this, but for the money, this is very usable. And for me, who don't use wide-angle, ultra-wide-angle lenses very often, this is one lens I can buy and not worry too much about this. I don't want to spend another £1,000. I'd rather buy an 85mm lens or something like this, you know. So I would say if you are an ultra-wide-angle lens enthusiast, then maybe it's worth investing in a more expensive lens. But if you just want to have one with you for occasion every now and then this is a very inexpensive choice which will perform really, really well.
The good thing is that now we have two 15mm options. So we have the Voigtlander 15mm 4.5, which we were testing out for the last couple of weeks. And now we have this one as well from 7Artisans. Obviously, they're not the kind of lenses you can do exact side-by-side comparisons on. This is an f4, this is a 4.5. This is a much more expensive lens with more expensive optics and a more complicated optical formula, whilst this is a fairly inexpensively made lens. But if you are in the market for a wide angle, there are more options out there now, which is quite exciting. We hope you found this review video helpful. We've been here at Polesden Lacey National Trust in Surrey, so if you want to pay them a visit, you definitely should. It is a beautiful area to shoot in. And if you like this video, give us a like and a subscribe.
Yeah, if you found this super useful, there's a super thanks button as well.
And if there's any other lenses you'd like to see us review, let us know in the comments below.
Voila.
Et voilà.